y'all.
Welcome to the Mustache and The Beard.com. Two Grey Geeks changing the world, one post at a time. Sorry.
Right, that's two gay Greeks changing their pants one leg at a time.
I am the Mustache. Louis Matos here, as usual, and I think this is the last time I get to play Sledgehammer, the noir detective, Private Dick. And I've enjoyed my time as Sledgehammer.
That's just for this year. We'll return to this next August.
Okay. And I'm going to play Sledgehammer next August? Or maybe I'll play somebody else.
It's up to you.
Yeah.
You could be whoever you want. Pookie, you can be whoever you want.
And I'm here again with my buddy,
Junior Figueroa, a.k.a. The Beard. For August Murders, this is my last appearance as Inspector Jean-Claude Perdue of the Sûreté.
otherwise known as Frenchie.
Otherwise known as Frenchie. I invented the French kiss. Let me kiss you, baby.
Don't you wish? And we're here today to do our Get Out of Jail Free!
Get out of jail free!
And this is our number 4 video of Get Out of Jail Free.
Free. That's right.
All right.
Get out of jail free is when we do all those things that we do, not to do the things that we're supposed to be doing, like laundry and cleaning and cooking and stuff.
Yeah, so
like
it's
that.
reading comic books, reading books, watching movies, watching TV shows.
Playing games,
Okay, yeah, so all of that.
all that good stuff.
Awesome.
All that stuff that makes life
Worth living. All right. Generally, you go first, and you complain about it, so I'm going to go first.
So I won't complain about
Yeah,
it.
so you can't be whiny. I'm hoping that you're going to be, big, like you generally are when you're speaking at your best. Okay, I'm going to tell you about a comic book that I read this week called Jeepers Creepers. This is not just one comic book; it's a mini series by Dynamite Comics. So
You bought that?
I bought this. Yes, this is when we went to the comic shop, and you were so high on Dynamite Comics.
I still am.
Well, I'm telling you. Now, I bought it because I love the artwork on the covers. Yeah, there's 5 of these. The covers by Q-Bar Ball. Oh, no. It's this by Sager is the cover. It's painted. And Q-Bar Ball is the artist on the inside. The artwork in the inside is really good. Okay?
You don't like the cover?
I love the cover. No, I love the cover. This is like a Bill Sienkiewicz kind of cover.
Yeah, that and that sort of style. But it's a painting.
It's beautiful. Yes,
and it really is. It really does look creepy.
Yeah. So I loved the covers. I loved the interior artwork. And Jeepers Creepers was not a great movie, but the first one was scary. And Jeepers Creepers 2 and 3, not so much. And directed by a sex offender. So I would immediately.
Who was the sex offender?
The sex offender was the director. I don't remember his name. But yeah, that's why it's like, okay, I'm trying to recommend this comic. However, I can't recommend it because the story is not good.
Really? Okay, but it's not good in what sense? It's not well written?
Okay, so what happens is the pacing of the writer, I think the reality is that he has some issues in continuity from comic from one book to the next book. It starts off, the first 2 issues are really good. And then the third one, it's like he loses his pacing. They do a little time travel stuff that is like, okay, now. and this is supposed to be a monster, so it's a creeping kind of monster. And okay, so the main character is a student studying the lizard people, and it's just the continuity. All of a sudden, it gets messed up because he does a vision quest, and so part of it is him being high and stuff like that. So it gets really...
And it gets surreal.
It just... And the artwork follows it. It's just that the one book ends while he's in a certain place, and then you start the next book, he's not in that place. I'm like, wait a second, how did he get from A to B?
From A to B.
Yeah, so that's what I mean as far as continuity is concerned.
I guess he didn't think people would.
And it frustrates. But, you know, and so part of it, I believe, is that Dynamite Comics does a great job of promoting other titles inside of the book. Mm-hmm. So inside of the book, I see an advertisement for Vampirella, you know, and then I see an advertisement for James Bond, and an advertisement for Red Sonja, and you know, I'm like, I went and I started writing down these. I was like, I want to read that.
Yes, that's exactly what happened.
And so the problem is, you get 25 pages of the story and 8 pages of advertisement of their own, of Dynamite stuff, which it sounds Dynamite, but really I would have just preferred, instead of this being 5 books, it would have been 4, you know, and then just the inside cover as advertising, the outside, the back cover as advertising. You know, it would have been enough. You know, I think they're more focused on the advertising than on the story. And so the editor, I hate that but I'm starting off with the negative so that I can get to the positive.
You know, the mainstream comic. Wait,
don't whisper.
I'm whispering. Mainstream comics do that also now. There's so much advertising.
It just pisses me off.
In-house.
Yeah.
There is so much in-house advertising.
And, you know, there's no outside advertising, which I can appreciate. That this is them selling their own stuff, which I love. However, I think it really took away from the story. And so, as a consequence, I'm giving it a 2 because the artwork, Two Grey Geeks, because the artwork is really good, but the writer, Mark and Draco, and I've read some of his stuff. I've liked some of his stuff. This, sorry, I can't. And you know, this is supposed to be horror. It is scary how bad this is.
My God.
Two Grey Geeks.
Well, look in the back cover. That's the James Bond origin that I've been telling you about.
And I wrote it down. That's on a whole sheet. All the stuff that is created.
Now, I also read a miniseries. What happened was I got on Read Comics Online and I was looking at I typed in Avengers. What I was trying to see was I was trying to find more modern Avengers stuff to see where they are. You know, cognizant of the fact that I was probably not going to like it. But
it's the new stuff that we have issues with.
But I didn't find any new stuff. What happened was I came across the Avengers and Justice League. Remember the miniseries they did, the crossover between the Justice League and the Avengers. Kurt Busiek and George Perez. And I was like, you know, I read this when it first came out, and I loved it, but I haven't read it. I haven't looked at it since then. And I just got sucked in.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I just got sucked in, and I wound up.
And this was on ReadComicOnline.co.
And I read, you know, the whole 4-issue spread, and The artwork is amazing. It is George Perez at his absolute best.
That means when he was doing Teen Titans.
Even better.
Even better?
Better. Even better.
Who's the inker?
I didn't.
Because the inker helps, you know?
Yeah, and I didn't pay attention because their two names are on the cover, you know? So,
yeah.
And the story can be praised, right? Obviously, he knows both the Marvel Universe and the DC Universe and knows how to incorporate the two into one story. So it wasn't a case where you couldn't possibly say that one universe was favored over the other, or the Avengers were favored over the Justice League. You couldn't say anything like that. But there's always a but. But I had a problem with two things. And I probably didn't realize it when I first read it, because it is a problem that I'm complaining about now, comics now. First thing I want to complain about is that I didn't understand why they decided to make a difference between the Marvel Earth and the DC Earth. Earth is Earth. It should be that it's simply...
they just wanted to separate the universes, I think.
Right, but they actually said that the Marvel Universe Earth is smaller than the DC Universe Earth. Why?
I guess they were favoring DC on that part.
I don't understand. Why should the two Earths be different sizes?
They always try to, split everything down the middle.
I mean, they're already showing us like there's no Metropolis in Marvel, right? So they're in Metropolis, and they disappear from Metropolis, and they're in the Marvel universe, and it's where Metropolis was is an empty field. Okay, so there's no Metropolis. Okay, fine. They established that Superman doesn't like the Marvel Universe. He says their sun feels greasy. Okay, fine. No, because I understand it, because they're trying to say that there's certain laws of physics that are different. For example, there's no Speed Force in the Marvel Universe. Flash gets his powers from the Speed Force. So in the Marvel Universe, he has no super speed, right?
Okay.
So but then Scarlet Witch taps into chaos magic in the Marvel Universe. In the DC Universe, the chaos magic, she has no control over it because she's not attuned to the chaos magic overwhelms her. She starts becoming an albino, and her eyes are sunken in, and because the magic is like eating her up. Okay, fine, I understand. But size and why, it made no difference to the story. Why are you emphasizing that the Marvel Universe Earth is smaller than the DC Universe?
Maybe because there are more fake places in the DC Universe.
I wouldn't think so, but maybe
City.
That might have been it. That might have been it. That I didn't like. That really
put a bad taste in your mouth.
Bad taste. And then the ultimate thing is, the ending is, I didn't realize it at the time, but the ending is Avengers Endgame, in the sense that everybody and their mother has to be there having this wild slugfest,
so not just
it's like
Justice League, their people.
It's every Justice League member.
Every Avenger.
Every Justice League member. You got all these characters running around, and yes, it's nice. It's nice once. Right? But every comic that I'm reading is giving me this humongous, like that was my problem with Dynamite Comics when I was doing when I was reading.
Yeah, they were promoting it. That big.
Oh my God! And I keep coming back to Avengers Endgame. It is this gigantic
storyline.
Battle, epic battle with dozens upon dozens upon dozens of characters all running around, and you're like, oh my God, I'm so tired of that. So I'm afraid that I came away not liking it
because the story is too big.
Not liking it as much as I liked it the first time I read it.
No, it was because the story was too big.
Yeah,
it's because now I get the. See, I am willing to be an apologist about the fact that you get the Avengers together, you get the Justice League together. It should be an apocalyptic story. But you're right that every story is an apocalyptic story.
It starts out with like 7 Avengers, 7 Justice League members. Okay. All right,
That's cool.
That's cool. But by that 4th issue, you got everybody and their mother. You got the Hulk, you got Samana, you got oh my God,
Yeah, they made it too big.
They made it too big. They made it too. It's all. I walk away with all remembering Crash. It's just a crash. It's just one big, boom. It's like a 2 or 3 car collision. You cry because somebody got killed, right? If you have an entire highway of cars obliterated, the bigger numbers does not make it better. It makes it worse. You care less. You care less. And so whereas when I first read it back in the day, I probably would have given it like 5 Grey Geeks. The top I can give it now is maybe 4.
Okay, you whispered.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Back in the day, when I first read it, I probably would have given it like 4 Grey Geeks. Now, 5 Grey Geeks, which was perfect. But now, I'm a little more jaded. I read it. The most I can give it is 4.
But it's still great.
Still great. Mm-hmm. Doesn't take away from George Perez's artwork.
No.
And it doesn't take away from the writer's
UCX. Scripting.
And his knowledge.
Really good
his knowledge is just that they feel that they have to,
Yeah. Explain.
They have to give you
a rationale.
At the end, it has to be the battle of the Bulge. Mm-hmm. It's got to be the Normandy invasion. It can't be, a couple of people. Mm-hmm. Because the minute you pull back and you have these huge numbers, it becomes impersonal. So I didn't care that She-Hulk was getting her ass kicked. She wasn't there for the whole story. Okay, Lewis has graciously allowed me to go first for this one. I'm going to talk about a book. This is the book that
Mustache, not Lewis.
Sledge.
Right.
Sledge. Sledge graciously allowed me to go first.
Gobble, gobble.
This is the book that I'm currently reading. It's called Mark and Reprisal, and by the author is Elizabeth Moon. Now, this is book 2 of a series called Vata's War. It is a space opera. It is a space war.
You promoted the first part in March.
I did an article on it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was called Trading in Danger, Book 1 of Vata's War. Loved it. I loved the book. I loved the character.
Hence you reading part 2.
I'm reading part 2, and I'm loving it. This one also, so I think I'm going to wind up buying 3 and 4 and so on. If you are a fan of Honor Harrington, if you know who Honor Harrington is, if you're a fan of Cat Falcone, if you know who Cat Falcone is, it is the same type. It's a subgenre it involving kick-ass females as in charge, female captains, female heroes, space opera, space battles. Love it. I highly recommend the first one, Trading Danger, and thus far I can recommend this one. I will let you know when I finish it, but this is what I'm reading now, and you may want to check it out yourself. I can't give it because I haven't finished. I can't give it a rating, right? All I can tell you is that the first one, Trading Danger, I gave 5 Grey Geeks. So and thus far this book is not disappointing me. So check it out. And this author, Elizabeth Moon, is very prolific. You saw her list of titles.
Oh, yeah.
She's an ex-Marine. So let me tell you something. When it comes to being kick-ass female and
knowing what she's talking about,
in terms of military, she's got it. She's got it. So check it out. Got them off.
Wow, you're done with your cigar already?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. All right. I'm going to start with a movie review. That'll be my second.
Right.
This is a movie that I saw a while ago because we chose specific movies stuff last time.
Right.
The Old Guard.
Oh, yes. You told me about that.
Yeah. One day, and it was on Netflix, right? And it was brand new, and they put it #1 in the United States today.
Right.
And so I was like, damn, maybe I should check it out.
Yeah, right.
And I didn't know anything. I didn't see a trailer or anything like that. I said, you know what? It has Charlize Theron.
She's turning into an action queen.
An action star. Absolutely.
Yeah. Ian Flux, Atomic Blonde. Now this, oh God, she's turning into an action queen.
All right. So, it's mentioned that it was a superhero movie. And so I checked it out. 2020 action fantasy movie. In some places it's heralded as a superhero movie. I don't consider it a superhero movie. You know, that's arguable.
It's because they got powers, right?
And they don't have powers. They have immortality.
Right. Well, they consider that a power. So.
Based on Greg Rucka's comic book.
That's another reason.
Leandro Fernandez is the artist. Yeah. And Greg Rucka did the screenplay. So, excellent. Charlize Theron, listen, I started watching this movie and I'm like, wow. I was drawn in immediately.
Do they still have it on Netflix?
I think so. It's only been about a month that it's been on.
I'm try checking it out.
Yeah.
Don't buffer.
Yeah, so Charlize Theron, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Harry Melling from Harry Potter. If you remember the pudgy kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a bad guy in that. He's a bad guy in
this.
He is the bad guy. He's slimmed down.
Yeah.
He looks good, but he's still in his face.
Still a creep.
Yeah. Just hard. He is a great bad guy. All right. Directed by Gina Prince Blythewood. So it's directed by a female, which is great. It's a group of immortals with the ability to heal themselves, discover that someone is onto their secret, and must fight to protect their freedom. Think about an army of Wolverines or soldiers that can self-heal, and you think, oh, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get their... And the main bad guy is this Harry Melling.
Wants to dissect them.
Yeah, wants to take what makes them tick.
Makes them tick.
Yeah, so you've seen what Wolverine can do, so
imagine a team of that.
Yeah. So they are heroes. I don't call them superheroes because they have, again, they have guns, and they're shooting and they're soldiers.
They're more like super soldiers.
Yeah, so they're more like soldiers of fortune kind of thing. Now, Charlize Theron plays this immortal that has been around longer than all the others, and she's kind of like their mother. She chooses the missions that they go on and stuff like that. Really enjoyed the action. There's heroics. There's a new person that's joined into the thing, and I think that's how they're trying to draw. So they're trying to show you how they got started, kind of a
Right,
thing.
and because that person has questions, and when they answer the questions,
Correct.
they're giving us information.
So storytelling is really good, and you wouldn't expect any less from Greg Rucka. So, and I know I'm not the only one that likes this movie. I am giving it 4.5 Grey Geeks because I really enjoyed it. Again, I went into it blind.
Right.
So I wasn't sure where they were going with it. I kind of had an idea that it was going to be a Soldier of Fortune kind of thing, and it was that and more. And that's what you want in a movie. Some escapism, something that pulls you through, and you begin to care about these characters.
Yes. You want what you want is the movie to pull you in, and for 2 hours you forget about your life and live theirs.
Yes. So 4.5 Grey Geeks, The Old Guard, good movie.
Netflix.
Check it out. So
job.
I got you.
I'm gonna
I got you to want to watch it.
Yeah,
right?
I want to watch the movie.
Okay.
I also watched the movie. I watched a movie called Age of Heroes.
Yeah, you were telling me about that.
It's a World War II commando movie. What compelled me is that it's a true story about a commando raid into Norway that was organized and planned by Ian Fleming, the creator of James Bond. And he plays one of the characters in the movie, although he does not go on the mission. But during World War II, Ian Fleming was the assistant director of naval intelligence. And so he was known as the ideas guy. And so he would come up with these off the wall ways of doing things that later on
Was good for his books.
was good for his book. Like, for example, this is a true story. He got the bright idea of taking 20 prostitutes. Yeah, he took 20 prostitutes.
Already, I love the story.
There's not this movie, but this is something that Fleming did. He took 20 prostitutes who spoke French and German, trained them to be spies, dropped them behind enemy lines for the express purpose of seducing high-ranking German officers, and in pillow talk, getting the information back to our side.
Not a bad idea.
It wasn't a bad idea. The minus is that by the end of the war, only 3 of them survived.
Yeah,
because 17 of them got caught. But the fact is, this is how he thought outside the box. So this is what appealed to me about the movie, plus the fact that it starred Sean Bean.
My God, yeah, he's a good actor.
Okay, so I love the movie. It's a great movie.
The only problem with Sean Bean is he dies in every movie.
Yes. Oh my God!
So don't say if he dies. But
the thing with the only problem with the movie really is that because it's a true story, things don't always go the way you emotionally want them to go.
Of course,
they go according to
how it actually
happened. and life hurts. So you come away. This happens to me very often when I see movies, especially war movies, based on true stories. That you wind up, oh man, did he have to die? Oh man, did that really? Is that sort of thing. So, but I love the movie. The action is great. The acting is great. The writing is great. You care about the characters. You care about the team. So I would give it 4 Grey Geeks. I would give it's called Age of Heroes, and I saw it free on Amazon Prime.
Awesome.
Yeah, well, Amazon Prime actually didn't start buffering for this movie. This was last night.
And what's the name of the movie?
Age of Heroes. Okay. Age of Heroes. So, and it's a new movie. It's a new movie because Sean Bean is not a young man in this movie.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he's married with, and his wife is pregnant, and he has to go on this mission, and that's part of the drama.
Okay. The book that I want to talk about is The Trouble with Tribbles by David Gerald. And this is my well-thumbed copy of The Trouble with Tribbles. I wouldn't have read it as many times as I have in the past. Now, mind you, I haven't read it in 10 years. So, But if you recall, Star Trek Ishmael, 2 weeks ago, we did a get out of jail free.
Right.
And I
Blasted.
blasted that book because I also compared it to The City on the Edge of Forever, which is the number one generally thought of by all Star Trek geeks.
Yeah, whenever they do a poll, it's always, that episode always comes out number one.
Yeah, so that was a smoldering turd. All right? This book is the second favorite episode of most Star Trek fans. The Trouble with Tribbles.
Yeah, City on the Edge of Forever usually comes out number one, and Trouble with Tribbles usually comes out number two.
And so this book is about the making of that episode and the making of David Gerald as a writer.
As a writer, right, because this was his first professional gig, right?
Correct. And so as an unknown writer, he was able to get, right out of college, he was able to get a, what do you call those? Agents.
Right. He was able to get an A, which is like
much
next to
harder now
impossible.
today.
Yes.
At that time, in the early 70s, early 60s, 67, late 60s, he was able to find an agent. He said he opened up the yellow pages, called one agent, two agent, and the fifth agent in A was the agent that said yes to him. So it was like that.
Damn.
Yeah. So the agent says, Star Trek. He said immediately, I want to write for Star Trek. He goes, well, Star Trek will sometimes hire writers. But they want a plot is what they want. They want a plot, a story.
A story idea.
Yeah.
Something you can pitch.
So what he did was he wrote 5 story ideas, and Gene L. Coon said he'd look at it. Mm-hmm. And so he took him under his wing immediately. And so he took an interest in him, which is unheard of. I don't think it'll. Yeah, it won't happen nowadays.
That would not happen nowadays.
So Gene L. Coon walked him through the process, and so this book is about how he walked him through the process. He told him to send his ideas in February of '67 because he said they'd be done with the stories and they didn't know if they were going to be renewed. Mm-hmm. And so he said, if they're renewed in February, I'll be buying scripts. So he sent him the scripts. Early February of '67, he sent him 6 story ideas, where one was chosen, and it was a story about the Fuzzies.
The Fuzzies.
The Fuzzies. A fuzzy thing happened was the name of the story. And so Gene invited him to the, not Gene Roddenberry, but Gene Coon, the producer. The executive producer didn't have time to do all that. Yeah. The producer walked him through the process.
The line producer.
So now he sells the plot for $1,000 because he wasn't a real writer. He didn't get $3,000, which was the typical thing. Mm-hmm. But the agent said, "Listen, if they give you the script to write, you'll make that up." And so he was hoping that now, because he had a friendship with Gene Coon and he was invited to the set, mm-hmm. where he met actors and they talked with him, and so great. Now, when it was done, his script was nominated for a Hugo Award.
Wow.
Hugo Gernsback is called the father of science fiction because he created amazing stories.
Right.
And so
he's the father of literary
science fiction. Right. So forget about I don't mean forget about Asimov or any of those other Silverberg or any of these other fathers. However, so what happens is he gets nominated, and he was told by people from the fans are telling him as he do the convention thing, and he loses to Harlan Ellison.
City on the Edge of
City
Forever.
on the Edge of Forever.
Wow.
So he's accustomed to being number 2 the whole time. All right. So having said that, I love this book. Just want to leave with an anecdote before I give you my rating. One of the con organizers was a nurse, Tim Courtney. She took care of many children who had spinal injuries. And one of the children in her unit had a severe spinal injury, but it looked like she could come back from that. But her mother one day was reading a Reader's Digest article, and on the cover is the Reader's Digest article, and it was called, "Will Your Child Survive Meningitis?" And so when she saw that her daughter was awake, she put it on the thing. But she could still see that this thing, I'm not supposed to survive this. So she's fading day by day. And the nurse is like, oh my God, what am I going to do? She was and talking to the girl, she says she's a Star Trek fan. So Gerald sends her a tribble. One of the tribbles that he had from the set. And because the girl can't move, the nurse puts it on her cheek and on her shoulder so she could feel, and she says, Mr. Spock sent this for you. The kid found a reason to live. She walked out of the hospital. And so David Gerald says, sometimes I wonder that if they didn't buy my script, what would I be? And he goes, I know that it was meant to be because I have proof that what I did had an impact on one person's life.
Changes the world.
Yeah. So with that having been said, I'm saying this is 5 Grey Geeks. I loved this book. Even though there's anecdotal evidence of how we affect people and we don't even know, he was able to find that out. This nurse was able to say, you did this. So, yeah, definitely a life-changing book. I appreciated it. I had forgotten that story because, in reading a book, it's the book,
Of course.
You think it's the trouble with tribbles. That's the story about. But there was a story behind the story. So 5 Grey Geeks, love this book. You should try and pick it up. There are newer versions of it now. It's still in print. The Trouble with Tribbles.
They probably have it on Amazon too, even used copies.
Yeah, it might be. Yeah. So definitely, I would highly recommend this book. Yeah, if you want to check it out.
Yeah, I read it. I read it myself back in the 70s.
Do you want to take this copy?
No.
I know you have.
I will
eventually read it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to thank you for sharing that story. I had read.
Don't whisper.
I had read this book back in the 70s, and I had not reread it since then. I'm going to reread it. So I'd heard the story, but I didn't remember until now you told the story, and it hits home for me because we sit here and we say, changing the world one post at a time. Mm-hmm. And what we do does what David Droll did. He changed the world for that little girl.
Just being compassionate.
Just being compassionate. Just being himself. Just sharing his art. He changed the life of that little girl. And we have had people that tell us that our videos get them through the day. Right? Especially now that so many people are on lockdown and that what we do, we've heard from people that say, I'm looking forward to your video because, it brightens my day. It gets me through my Monday. We've been told this. And we say, changing the world one post at a time. And we are. And that story really hits home for me.
Yeah, when we chose the name of our blog, right? It was, let's call it this, and we need a tagline, and it was a little tongue-in-cheek, but I figured if we make people laugh, we are changing the world.
We're changing the world.
We're changing the world.
We're changing the world.
Hopefully for the better, and what we hear is that we do the best that we can, and I mean, what we hear is people telling us, "You make me laugh,"
You make me laugh,
and that's good, because we do that on purpose. Yeah, we goof, but we do take this blog seriously. We love those people. We love you all. We love our readers and those that watch us. We understand that you made a choice to watch this video as opposed to watching something else.
That's right, doing something else.
So,
and we're grateful, and we're respectful of that.
yes.
We're not trying to give you pablum. We're not. This is, this is the meat.
Mm-hmm.
This is us.
Yes. And so, did you want to say something else?
Except that I love you.
I love you too, and I appreciate that we've built this thing together.
Yeah.
With that having been said, my name is Louis Matos. I am the Mustache, and this will be the last week that we're talking as Sledgehammer, and
I am Junior Figueroa. I be the Beard, and this is my last for this year.
Mm-hmm.
My last time as Inspector Jean-Claude Perdue. I loved it, and I love you.
Although for our blog anniversary, we might actually pull out these.
You said the word.
We might actually pull these outfits out again.
You said the word, blogiversary.
Yeah. That never gets old for us.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Our Puerto Rican noisemakers.
Yes.
So, thank you for watching. See you later.
Hasta la vista.
Take it easy.
And peace.